Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined with my mom. Do you want to say your name?
Tina.
This is Tina, or you can call her mom if you want to. And we are going to discuss mental illness, growing up with mental illness in my mom's point of view and also in my point of view as well. So we don't really know, it's obviously not a planned video. She came here to visit me. And, oh, there's little Whiskers. Wanna say hi? Okay, this is my dog Whiskey. Came with my parents, and my dad is in the bedroom sleeping or resting, but this is Whiskey. So they decided to come over and visit me while I had like a day off of work, and we hung out and walked around today and did a bunch of running around, went to Costco and stuff. So we decided to film this video because I did want to film something like this. That's what we're doing now.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to do a disclaimer to this video. I'm not saying that having a mental illness is a bad thing at all. I'm not saying that if you're hyperactive or anything like that, that is a mental illness. This is like our story of what happened, about what we've learned from it. Nothing bad about mental illness. No, what is it called? Like, we're not targeting that it's a bad thing, because it's not. It's always a blessing, and always, it's like who you are, kind of. It's what defines you. So not in any way in this video are we saying that it's
Or diagnosing you.
or diagnosing you guys, but it's just like kind of like bringing it up, like out in the world. And if you have a similarity of an issue, if your child has mental illness or something like that, and you're like, oh yeah, that's totally like what us, and then you can really build that relationship of like the community to help figure out and help each other. That's kind of why we're making the video, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds good.
So that's what we just wanted to cover, and I wanted to cover just because we're not trying to diagnose or shame
Or treat.
treat mental illnesses, because with mental illness and with like life in general, everybody has different preferences and everything works different for everyone. So what worked for me might work for you, but also might not work for you. So you always got to try like everything. Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to start off with how did you know that, or what was the how do I word this? So when did you find out that, or how did it come across that I had a mental illness, or how did it get into our hands, as in we got told to go to the doctor, right?
Well, I think that I first noticed that there was something going on pretty early on, like by the time you were 2.
2? Okay.
2. Just, you were busier than average and super hypersensitive you were hypersensitive to hot, hypersensitive to cold, to like all your clothes, the tags, and they had to feel right. Your socks had to be on the right feet.
Okay.
You know, and socks, most pairs of socks don't have a left or a right.
Yeah, no.
But if it was on the wrong foot, then there was a major meltdown. Lots and lots of temper tantrums. So it was just, I just had to be extremely patient and try to help you work through the challenge that you were having with it, whatever situation it was. You had a really hard time transitioning. So if you were watching TV and then it was like, okay, it's dinner or it's bed, going from one activity to another was really hard. Okay. So those were just little tiny things that just took, for me as a parent, more time and energy, and that was okay, but it was the exhaustion that it put on you. Okay. Like you were frustrated in your own
skin?
In your own mind and body.
Okay.
Because it didn't make sense. You were feeling frustrated, you were feeling angry, and it was pretty hard at a young age to understand your feelings, and everything was a big deal. And so you would get frustrated, you'd get angry, you'd, throw things and whatever. So that was early on. And then by the time you started elementary school, so kindergarten was, so kindergarten was kind of strange because you have a sister who is 2 years older in school. Caitlin is just 17 and a half months older, but 2 years in school. You had been tagging along with me, taking Caitlin to school for, Caitlin was in kindergarten and then in grade 1, and you would tag along every day, dropping her off at school, and so familiar with the school system, and you were keeping up to your sister in all areas. So I just kind of assumed that when it came time for you to drop you off to school, that it would be easy peasy, simple. So it wasn't. First day we go to school, I'm thinking, yahoo, I get to drop off both my kids, have a couple hours to myself, and no going whatsoever. So you had major separation anxiety.
Really?
Really. Like, it was really bad. So, and I was totally blown away. Because I wasn't expecting it at all. I had never seen anything like that from you before. So me, the abandonment or leaving you at school, or, I had walked you in, we had done the story time, and then it was time for me to go. And you were hanging on to me, screaming. So, and it went on for a few months.
Really?
Yeah.
Ew.
Probably
why?
close to almost Christmas time. And then what happened was the teacher was like, you know what, you need to just drop her off at the door. You can't take her in. She's got to learn. And I didn't necessarily agree with that, because you were having such a hard time that I knew it was bigger than just you being sad that you weren't, like, it really was a real anxiety for you. And so anyways, we worked through that. By the end of kindergarten, we had bought a new house and switched schools, and then you went to a different school for grade 1. And that was all great. It was good. By the time you were in grade 3, and so the same challenges were happening, super hyperactive, no impulse control, lots of temper tantrums, hard for you to wake up in the morning, you didn't sleep very well, just stuff.
Struggling.
Struggling.
This was like last week.
And so your grade 3 teacher was the one that approached me probably a couple months within 2 months of into grade 3. And then she pulled me aside and said, I just see some differences in Paige compared to the other girls in the class. Compared to the boys, no, but comparing you to the other girls, there was differences.
But not to the boys?
Well, because boys were busy and a little bit aggressive, and so you were aggressive and busy and
a girl.
And a girl.
Oh, my battery is flashing. It's okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I had always known this. By the time you were 2, I had gone to see our family doctor and said, I think there's something more going on for Paige. And she's like, no, it's just because you have 2 kids, you're busy. I'm like, I don't think so, but whatever. So I wasn't surprised when your grade 3 teacher said there seems to be a little something going on. So went to the doctor, and you were constantly getting into trouble at school because you'd push somebody down the slide or throw rocks at someone or whatever.
Yeah.
Lack of impulse control.
Yeah.
So you would react. Yes.
And then blow up.
Yeah. So then went to the doctor there, or to the school or something, but you weren't bad enough for the school to do anything about it. So they said, well, wait until she gets to middle school. And I thought, there's no way I'm waiting until middle school, because you're already having a hard time. You're looking at something to make you feel better, and I thought, you know what? All I can see is drugs, sex, alcohol, to try and feed the issues that you were having, to make you feel better, because you were constantly looking for something. So we went to the doctor, and of course, because the school wasn't going to do anything, then privately we had an assessment done. And so that was at the time where we had the assessment, and you were diagnosed with ADHD.
At what age?
8.
8.
And the other reason for doing that is that your self-esteem was so low that when I would be tucking you in at night, you were constantly crying and not wanting to be around, and had suicidal thoughts at 8 years old. So yeah, that is why I was like, okay, we need to figure this out, because at 8 years old, if you're already feeling that your life isn't worth living, and you used to say, Mommy, can you just kill me and make it all go away?
That is so sad. Don't make me cry, please. Don't say
It
that.
is.
I hate
Well,
that.
you did say that.
I know, but I don't like hearing
But now look at where we are now.
I know.
So it broke my heart. I've spent 20 years with that. But now it's like, okay, that was then. But yes, I spent many a night sitting by your bed, and you wanting me to take a gun to you, and you would ask.
That's so weird. I don't even know how I knew about that.
I have no idea. Well, because you felt it. Do you remember being on the balcony, us away at holidays, and you wanting to jump? And I thought,
Was that with Aunt Tammy?
no, that was in Victoria with I think
Oh.
Shehan, the
my
exchange
gosh.
student. So you were at that time, I think you probably would have been 10 or 11. And I just kind of just stayed calm, because it's like, I need you to get back off the balcony.
I think it's funny because it's not.
wasn't funny then.
It's not funny, but looking back on that, it's just like I don't know. It's the reason why I laugh is because like it's just like wow.
That
I
is
don't remember.
why I knew that that there was something more than just a little hyperactivity,
Yeah.
right? That because it was so, you were hurting so badly inside,
Yeah.
and it was just taking over. So that was, 8 to 12 or 13, 14. Things didn't really change much. It stayed pretty much the same. We would have good days, but probably never went a week or two without an episode. So it would be a week, and I'd be like, yay, okay, I haven't had to drag you from underneath the table, because you'd be underneath there, and we were always late for school, and
Oh my god, I remember taking medication for like the first time and like sitting at home because like I wouldn't take it, and like try and like put it in a piece of cheese and try to swallow it and all that
And
stuff.
so the other thing about the medication is that it was a really, really hard decision to make, to choose to do the medication route, right?
Yeah. So I don't read it.
But I did tons and tons of research, and I mean, you were just in such a bad, and so at 8 is when we tried the medication. And you were just in such a bad place that we had to try it.
Yeah,
and it was awesome. It really did. It saved your life at that time.
Yeah, and so we went on Concerta.
Well, I think we started.
I thought we started on Concerta. I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, maybe
I'm pretty
with
sure we did,
the 18 milligrams.
No, and then because we went on to the 54, and then I remember this one time I like hated it because it just was like, I was like, why can't I feel normal like all the other kids and not take medication? I don't understand. Because I remember this one time that I like took the pill bottle, and it was like this huge pill bottle, and I like threw it outside, and all the pills went everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Classic Paige.
It's like, yeah, so that was like
nothing.
Yeah, so so what happened is you took 18 milligrams. You started with the lowest dose, the 18 milligrams of Concerta, and there was some
side effects.
No, there wasn't any side effects, but I did see a change in your behavior, so that because what the medication did for you, what I saw that it did for you, is that it slowed your brain down enough so that you could have a clear thought process. So, and I noticed that with the 18 milligrams. So we did that for 2 weeks maybe, went back to the doctor, and I said, I can tell the difference, but we need a little bit more, right? I can see it working. So we bumped it up to 36. Well, within 3 days, I had taken you off 36 milligrams because what would happen, it was okay, and then right around dinner time, you would crash. Like it would major meltdown. So 2 or 3 days into this medication, I take you off, we go back to the doctor, like, we can't do this. This is crazy. And he said, she needs more. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Look at what's happening with the 36 milligrams. He said, no, what was happening, it wasn't enough, and so you were crashing. So 54? Bingo. It
stabilized me for how many ever years?
Yeah. And yeah, there was lots of times that I, kind of definitely either, thought about, I could say wish now, or thought about, doing something different or being off the medication. And any time that you missed it or didn't take it, or we could tell, and you weren't happy without it. So we pushed through, did whatever, and
what was some opinions on your peers when you decided to put me on medication?
I didn't talk about it very much to, say friends and people around me. Maybe with a close friend. Family members had a hard time.
And how would you tell someone that was close to you putting a child on medication? Like, how would you start the conversation? Or do you think it's a good idea to tell people, or try it out first and then tell? Do you know what I mean?
My opinion now?
Yeah. Well, society has changed, kind of, about.
Yeah,
It's great to have that. When people support it, it's great to have them there with you supporting it as well. Kind of as a good core support team, right?
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, the thing is that there was lots of negative opinions on it. There's lots of, there's the side effects. I know a lot of, and sometimes it's less educated, people that haven't educated themselves, they think the school is telling me I need to medicate my child, and the only reason is because they can't handle them. But for me, when I looked at the medication, it wasn't because I couldn't handle you or I didn't like to be around you. It was because you were suffering.
And like
you
I
were
couldn't
in
handle
pain.
myself.
So for me, it was not about me. Did it make life at home better? Yes, because you were better.
Yeah.
It didn't change who you were. You were still Paige. You still had energy. You still had meltdowns. You still were you. We didn't lose you in the medication. It really slowed your brain down enough so that you could move along a little easier. Made life a little easier for you.
Okay.
So, that was okay. There's still tons and tons of struggles. The medication was for ADHD. And so with ADHD, because I did tons and tons of research, and I was always, support groups or different online stuff, looking up how can I support you? How can I better make the environment easier for you so that we don't have, it's not so troublesome at home. That, I lost my train of thought. Doing lots and lots of research that with ADHD, in most cases, and I don't know what the percentage is that there is co-occurring disorders, which means that
Most of the time,
you have ADHD with bipolar.
Or like sleeping disorders, depression,
dyslexia, other learning disabilities, OCD, ODD, blah, 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 all that stuff. So and what I noticed as you got older, getting, into your teens and hitting puberty, was that your mood swings, almost an inability to control your mood. So your mood would kind of be whatever it was, happy, sad, angry, frustrated, which can change in a day. So I was always looking up bipolar and there is rapid cycling bipolar, because it was like, 1 minute you'd be okay and then the next minute you wouldn't, and it was just, you never knew moment to moment. It wasn't like you had 2 months of sad and 2 months of happy and 2 months of, it was like every day you went, it's crazy. So exhausting for you and for us, constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing what was going to walk through the door, and just kind of waiting, and okay, well, whatever Paige was, we will adjust around it to make it not worse, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of early teenage years and
middle school area?
Middle, yeah. And so there were some episodes, misbehavior, principals calling, making poor choices, nothing too major, but got you in trouble. Then grade 10 came, and
Is that when I started switching up medication?
No.
So back,
You switched your medication once, I think about grade, when you were 11 or 12. We tried Stratera.
and then didn't we try, what is it called? Was it the one at the camp?
That was Stratera.
That was Stratera. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Then we tried Stratera.
So that was like when you were 11, because what happens with Concerta, it's a 10-12 hour lasting medication, so it's good from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so then you have from 8 p.m. till whenever of someone who's not medicated. So, which was okay. But as you were getting older, you kind of needed a little more time during the day. And you were going to go off to camp. So you were going to Camp Homewood for a week. Yeah. So just before that, we decided to change the medication to Strattera, which is another ADHD medication, but it's a 24-hour lasting medication. It's in your system all the time and is sort of like perfect. Then you'll be, but it didn't really work for you. So we got a call from camp because you kind of assaulted someone.
It's not funny, but like...
So you assaulted somebody, you had to move tents and...
The reason why I think it's funny is because, and mostly why my mom is telling all the stories is because I don't remember any of this. I had no idea until like this year when you told me that I insulted someone. I had no idea that I'd have did it. So.
And it was always like that. You never ever remembered.
I don't remember. Like I don't remember.
Wake up in the morning and it's like it was really hard to.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, and either
It's not because I didn't care, but I actually did not know. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know anything because like I just wouldn't remember. Like, and that's why I say like I'm pretty sure I might have mentioned it before, but so my camera battery like died, so I had to plug it in, and then now we're back. But I was talking about my memory that I mentioned a couple, like I think I mentioned it in a couple of videos, but like I just don't remember anything past like grade 10. I don't like, I remember little bits about it, but I don't remember like.
Even before grade 10?
What did I say after?
Past.
Oh yeah, like before grade 10, but yeah, and continue.
Okay, so grade 10 came. Is that where we were at?
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure what happened in grade 10.
It was just fine. Like I like, so in grade 10, I mentioned this before, but it was just like okay, like everything was just like I was more aware of like mental illnesses and stuff like that, but I just kind of like, it's not like I hid everything, but I did. I was just like, I pretended that I was okay, so I faked it till I made it, and I was like okay, and I was fine, and I could tolerate it. Yeah.
In grade 10?
Yeah.
No, grade 10 was bad.
What do you mean?
That's when you ran away?
No, that was in grade 11.
No.
Yeah.
Because grade 10, that's what happened. And then in grade 11, you went back to school because you barely finished grade 10, like you didn't even do all your exams.
Yeah, but I
grade 11,
passed.
yeah, you passed because you're incredibly smart.
I know.
So no, what I meant is what I don't know what happened in grade. Okay, well let's start over. What happened in grade 10 was, so you had started hanging out with some different people, possibly, and I don't know if there was any other kind of substance.
No drugs, Mom. Not like I probably did the least out of every single person.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
And not saying that drugs was an issue ever, because people assume that all the time that drugs is the issue, but it might have affected me a little bit more than everyone else.
Yes.
Which is okay. It doesn't matter.
No, all I'm saying is what happened in grade 10. Actually, you know what happened in grade 10?
What?
So in December, around Christmas time, November, December of grade 10, so you were you 16? Yes, you were 16.
It's unreal that
We're chatting.
the stall.
Hi, Dad. What happened?
It's paid.
You didn't take Super Fruitus with you.
I already took most time. It's bizarre that it's by the stall though. Like I just cannot believe that.
What do you mean? Oh
That's
yeah,
not
no.
just by the car.
Yeah, because what if all of a sudden you gotta run out?
Yeah, but that is kind of our like.
That's how they make money, Dad.
Hey, Dino.
So what did you pay for?
Till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
And how much?
$9.
8 o'clock, that's it.
Well, that'll be fine.
Is that what it says? 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
12 hours?
Yeah. And then
Was
there's
$9? Is that how much we paid last time? That's what it was this time?
Yeah.
Weird. How come it keeps changing?
I don't know.
I think he's lying.
I think he's lying.
I think you're lying.
Okay.
Do you have your receipt?
Of course he doesn't.
Okay, so November, December of grade 10, you were 15. Yes, 15. And I had noticed that you had started spending more time in your room, you weren't coming out, you seemed sad. So I had noticed that, and then it was January, February, and I thought I'm going to watch to see what happened once the weather starts getting nice and we have more light with the SADS thing, the seasonal affective disorder stuff, because I thought, well, then that's something that we're going to have to address every year during our Campbell River winters, that we're going to have to either up your vitamin D, make sure that we have as much light, maybe get one of those other lights. So I was kind of watching that to see what happened once spring came, to see if there was a change in your mood, because your mood was low mood. So that's how it started. Then what ended up happening in March, it was spring break, it was just before spring break, you came to me and said, Mom, my medication's not working anymore.
Really?
I don't think I need it anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay, so tell me how you're feeling. So you were telling me how you're feeling, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe hormones have changed and you're more in control, because you actually seemed to be doing well. Mm-hmm. And stuff had kind of improved. So, and then it was going to be spring break, and Caitlin, so you were in grade 10, she was in grade 12. I'm not sure why Caitlin didn't go away with us for the weekend, but you, Dad, and I went to Victoria for the weekend. And so we had decided, okay, let's take a medication break. It's spring break. I can keep an eye on you, make sure you're okay, and we will see what happens. We went to Victoria, all was okay. We came back, and all of a sudden, it's almost like you snapped.
And what happened?
You should ask Dad.
Dad, can you come here for a second?
I can't.
Please?
No, I can't.
Please, Dad.
I'm my gosh.
Dad, please.
No.
So anyways, I'll tell you. So you had started we were getting phone calls from the school, you were skipping classes. You weren't going to school, skipping classes, you were hanging out all night, you were sneaking out the thing, jumping
Don't
onto
say that.
Yes, you weren't being a good girl. Good girl, whatever. And so we were getting phone calls from the school about Paige has missed block
The
D
like
on
answering
whatever.
machine.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at the kitchen counter. You come in. Dad was there too, because it was dinner time. And I said, hey, Paige, we got another call from the school. I wasn't attacking you, but every single time I even opened my mouth, you took it as an attack. So it was really, really hard to communicate with you, mm-hmm. because I'd say, hey, and you'd go, bah, 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 scream, yell, curse, whatever. So, Paige, we got another phone call from the school. What's going on? Is something like...
Was I on medication?
No.
No?
I don't think
my
so.
Battery. How hard is that?
So I just went like, what's going on? Like, how can we help you? Is, something you're not feeling well, somebody bullying you, whatever. You did not want to have a discussion about it at all. And I'm like, you know what? We need to talk about this. That's it. Give me your phone, because you were constantly texting or doing something and being totally distracted. And I'm like, we need to talk. So you ran upstairs, cursing and swearing, and into your bedroom. So I'm tired of dealing with you, because I'm not getting anywhere. So I say, Dad, Craig, you gotta go get her phone. And that's it. She's not gonna have a phone. We need to find some sort of, that was gonna be your punishment for whatever.
Lol.
And up he goes. Then there is a major kerfuffle. You are screaming like you're dying.
Because I was.
So I get up there and Daddy isn't even, he's in the doorway. And you're in the, don't you come here.
I think I remember this.
Come near me, blah, blah, blah. And then you called him an effing see you next Tuesday. Or
Yeah, that's
use
how you say
the
that.
see you next Tuesday word to your dad with the F word in the front.
And then
Well, he wasn't so happy. And you are like, you're going crazy and he's not even near you, right? You were totally out of control. Like just, and we were like, it was like there was a devil inside, your head was gonna start to spin around or something.
pretty much what
Yeah.
happened.
And so he goes to you, and then you say, you know, don't you effing blah, blah, blah. He grabs your coat, because you're like flailing, to hold you so that we could at least, like, because you're gonna run, and he's holding you, and,
Did I hit him?
oh no, he didn't, no, because he can probably go like this with you to hold you far enough. But oh yeah, you were trying, and you were moving, you ended up moving, and the way that you fell, kind of on the thing, it ripped your jacket. You kind of ripped your, I don't know what jacket you were wearing. You ripped
My
your
TNA one?
TNA one, I think.
Oh, is that why it has a rip in it?
Yeah. Because you flipped around when he was hanging on to you. Then, and you were still like going
Intense.
crazy. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so finally get him out of there. I'm trying to talk to you an hour, like, and so that might have been, that was probably Friday. That might have been Thursday. That was a Thursday. You never left your room, like Thursday night dinner time. You never left the room. And Friday morning, you got up, you went to school, and I never saw you again.
I went for offense.
Yeah. So Monday came around, and I called the school just to let them know that, just want to let you know, there's something going on with Paige. She left for school Friday morning. She hasn't been back home. She's, you know, run away. But, you know, like there's something going on, and I don't know what to do, right? So then the school says, oh, well, we've already talked to Paige, because you went into the school that morning, Monday morning, and talked to the counselors and the principal about how unsafe it was at home and that your parents beat you.
Classic. But I remember, because Dad sat on top of me, remember? And gave me like bruises on my chest. Do you remember that?
Well, I remember him holding you down because you were going crazy. Yeah. But I was standing there.
But I had bruises on.
Well, and you were flipping around as he was hanging on to you, yeah, on the bed and ripping your jacket and stuff. But
I'm not going to put that in the
but-
video, just so you know.
So you can.
I don't
mean,
want to.
But I'm just saying that, you know, that trying to keep you safe too, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, so yes, you've told the school you're unsafe, you're whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Now, you know, we're, you know, Dad and I are not so great parents, never had an issue in the past, right? And they're like, oh, you know what, she's just a teenager, just let her do her thing, she'll figure it out.
But I think that was the right thing. Like, just let me do my thing and then I'll come back. Like, I think, because you guys did a good job not talking to me, and I let my whole, like, thing, like, my energy go away, and then I came around.
Kind of.
Because when you guys didn't talk to me, it was probably the best week of my entire life.
Yeah.
And
But
I
the
needed
thing
that.
is, you probably needed that. But the thing is that what you were going through wasn't normal teenage
No, I know,
stuff.
I know.
That there was something else going on.
I know. But.
So
yeah.
from as a parent, I was like, you know, yeah, okay, she's 16 and being a teenage girl, but it was bigger than that.
Mhm.
Like you were crazy.
In my mind. My mind was crazy.
Your mind was crazy.
Yeah.
And you were out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bigger than just whatever. So that's what scared me and made me not want to just go, oh, okay, whatever, let her figure it out. But yes, you kept in contact with Caitlin, so I knew that you were safe. I knew that you weren't living
On the
under a
street.
bridge
Yeah.
or, you know, in a crack house or something like that, that we knew where you were and that you were safe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because Caitlin would drive me to school.
So I was, and I didn't need to know. I didn't, you know, I think I did okay during that time, and we had contacted the John Howard Society, was kind of dealing with them, and then you called me, and it was 10 days later, so you were gone for 10 days.
Oh.
So anyways, where were we? 10 days go by, you were gone for 10 days, and you called me up and said, hi Mom, come and get me, but you're not allowed to talk to me. I'm like, okay, where are you? Came in, picked you up, I wasn't allowed to talk to you, in the car. That was all kind of fine, went home, you wouldn't communicate, you didn't want to tell it, whatever. So that was, you know, I mean, not really okay. But I think we had, you had some contact through the high school with the John Howard because of being a teenager and kind of in trouble and running away. So then you go through the John Howard Society for help. And we saw a great woman there who was really good, and Dad and I went in and we were chatting, and she was good, although she did feel too that it was more of a mental health issue than a delinquent teenager issue. But prior to but with the running away, you had spent all your money, you were having what we thought, because then we went to the doctor to find out, because you were out of control and just almost possessed. Crazy.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
And so we went to the doctor.
And also, like, as I mean, like, possessed wise, is like, because I always felt that it was another thing controlling me. Like, it was just my body, and like, it was like, the bipolar was me and another thing controlling me. Like, it was just like, because it was two different, like, moods.
Yeah, and so at that time we didn't know what was, or I didn't know what was wrong, what was going on with you, right? So finally got you to the doctor, and he's like, oh, you've had a total manic episode. Put you on some pretty strong medication to bring you down,
And what
because
was
you
the
were,
medication?
so manic is when you're really high.
What was the medication that you had?
I don't think that one was the Seroquel. I think it was
No,
something.
it wasn't that. That wasn't.
A lot heavier than that.
Ew.
What?
Heavier than Seroquel?
So anyways, then there was the grad fashion show. So this was a couple weeks later, couple weeks later.
Oh yeah. I
And
remember.
you're still not,
I was grounded at the time.
yeah, and you're
Grounded.
still,
I was
well, we were trying to
grounded.
keep you safe.
I wasn't allowed to go to Dairy Queen after all the grads, because all my friends were grads and I was like in grade 10.
Paige,
I
do
know.
you know what you acted like
Yeah.
at the, what you were doing at the fashion show?
No.
during the fashion show?
No.
You were running around, you were bouncing, you were totally out of control during the fashion show.
What do you mean?
And I was there with other adult friends of mine, and we were watching you, and I was crying just watching you.
Why?
Because you were a mess.
It's okay.
No, it was super, super scary because you weren't okay. You thought you were, because you were like, you know, basically spinning off the ceiling. But that's not normal behavior, right? Or typical behavior. So then you're...
The camera died again. So we were at the grad fashion show. What were we talking about? It was like,
well,
yeah, so the grad fashion show happened.
a couple weeks after you had come home, and I had taken you to the doctor and got you on some medication to stabilize you to a level that where you were
Do you remember what medication we were on?
not Ativan.
Ativan?
I think it started with an A, I think.
What's Ativan?
Ativan people take when they're
Oh,
having
right,
major
right,
anxiety.
Adderall?
No.
Abilify.
Yeah, that's it.
Abilify.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And yeah, you didn't feel very good on that at all. So anyways, I was just watching you because you were still spinning out of control, and I was just trying to keep you safe. You were quite volatile and angry and a whole lot of rage, so I never knew. I didn't always feel safe.
Okay.
And I had talked to the doctor, and it was like, you know, at what point do I take you to the hospital? Like, do I know that you need more support than what I was able to give
Capable
you?
of?
Yeah. So, yeah, I was just kind of always never knowing, okay, is this the moment? Do I take you into emerge because you need hospitalization? So anyway, that had been happening after you got home in a couple weeks, and we went to the grad fashion show, and you were like spinning out of control, and I was just sitting there watching and just waiting to see what was going to happen. And then you're like, I'm going to Dairy Queen with all my friends. I'm like, no, you're not. I couldn't let you out. I couldn't let you out of my sight, because what I feared was you'd be gone. Mm-hmm. And not able, you wouldn't have been safe because you weren't making good decisions, you weren't in control of your body, you were a mess. Mm-hmm. So it was for safety reasons that I said, no, you're not going. You weren't very happy at all. And so I was like, I hung on to you. I'm like, no, you're coming with me, and made you come to the car, and you were not happy. So the whole entire time you were like hitting me and screaming and kicking, and I just needed to get home and make sure that you were home. And so a few weeks went by. So then we had gone to the John Howard Society, and they decided there was more of a mental health issue, that it wasn't just bad teenageness.
What is John Howard Society?
They deal with, actually it does lots of amazing things. It's
So
a wonderful
what
place.
is it like? What is it like?
I'll have to look up exactly what the definition of it. But at that time, what I thought was, it is a place where people go that have had run-ins with the law and are kind of having a bad time, and there's support for them and rehabilitation and getting them back out to working in the normal world or whatever. So we made an appointment with Child and Youth Mental Health. I phoned them, talked to them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's okay. Bring Paige in. So I went to the first appointment, went to take you in. You would not get out of the car. You actually drove there with me. You couldn't drive at the time, so you were 16, didn't have a driver's license. You sat in the car. There was no way you were coming in. So I went in. Yep, nope, she's not coming on. The lady came out. Okay, fine. I talked to her in the office. I thought everything was okay, perfect. We'll try and get help. So in a week or two later, we made another appointment. I had talked to you about it. Yes, you wanted some help because you didn't feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
Things were happening to you that was out of control. Like, Mom, why am I spending all my money? Mom, why can't I, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't like it. And then, then it got to the point where you would it was everybody else's fault why you were behaving that way too, right?
Woundology.
Yeah. So, we make another appointment to go to mental health because now we, what we need some coping skills. We need to figure out where to go next. So we go to the night before. Okay, Paige, we have an appointment at 9 a.m. This is what's okay. Yeah. So 8 o'clock or 7:30, I probably started. Yep, we're gonna go. Okay, so that's fine. Now we have to leave, and it's 15, 20 minutes prior to the appointment. So I go in the room, and you have a total meltdown. You had put makeup on, then you had to take the makeup off, and so you were having an anxiety attack, but there was no way that you were going to be able to leave the house and go to the appointment. And I knew that I had to get you to the appointment because you needed help. And we needed help as a family. So I wasn't giving up. Because it would have been way easier to say, piss on you, do whatever you want, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And let you live your life and destroy it at 16, right? Mm-hmm. But I knew that you were sick and that, that there was an illness that was taking over you, who you were. So I'm like, okay, no. So I go back out, I make a phone, no. I don't think I'd phoned them yet because now we're going to be late for the thing. Go back up, you've locked the door. And there's no way you're going to get out. So, because we had locks, you guys had your own locks, so you could have your own privacy. Well, so I got one of those skewers, remember that? Got the skewer so that I could open up the door, go in, and now you're trying to attack me with the skewer.
Of course I am.
And so I'm hanging on to it so that you don't hurt me with it, right? And I'm not letting go because it was in my hand and you were trying to grab it and I was like, you were trying to. So you were not so happy with me because I was going to make you go to this appointment and your lipstick wasn't right or something. So I'm bleeding because you've scratched and bitten and got whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I knew that because you were behaving that way, that I needed to get you to that appointment. Because I know that you didn't want to hurt me.
Mm-hmm. Why would I want to?
Yeah. So I wasn't giving up until I got you in that car until we made it to the appointment. So I did. I didn't let go of you and we were going to the appointment and down we went down the stairs and into the car and out we went. You actually followed me in and I'm like a mess, right? You're perfectly fine because you didn't have any marks on you and I'm like bleeding and I'm crying and you were fine. So you go in by yourself because there's no way you're taking me in there with you because I was, an awful mom or whatever.
Totally.
Yeah. So off you go into the thing. And I'm exhausted. So out you come, a half hour later, 40 minutes later, and the counselor that was talking to you, because I have no idea what you had said or whatever. And I look at her with kind of like, okay, you know, where do we go from here? You're gonna help us, right? And I just look and she's like, oh, I kind of hear you and Paige had a kerfuffle this morning. And I looked at her and went, a kerfuffle? Like, seriously, look at me. Look at her. She looks perfectly fine. And then she said, well, I let Paige know, you know, right now she's not really into getting any help. So when she decides that she wants the help, we're here to help her. And I'm like, and I was so frustrated because you weren't thinking logically because you were not well. Whether or not the medication was wrong or your brain was firing wrong, whatever the reason was, you weren't well.
Yeah.
So of course you're not. When a lot of times when people aren't well, they don't even understand that they're not well, and they're blaming everybody else. So they're not going to go and say, hey, guess what? I'm feeling like I'm crazy right now, and maybe I'd like some help.
Yeah, because like I always just thought I was okay. I was just like whatever.
Yeah. So,
because you didn't know any better than like what you were always.
So the thing is that me as the mom, knowing that my child needed help and needed the support, it didn't matter. Because you were 16, it was up to you to get help. And I couldn't do anything. So that was an awful place to be.
Yeah.
So we never
closer?
ever went back to child and youth mental health because they were absolutely not helpful at all.
Until we went again.
Well, yeah. So then we got you on some medication. You actually stabilized.
It was. Did I just go back on Concerta?
Yeah, and then I think you started taking. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Started taking the. Is it still okay? It's blinking that
Yeah,
way.
it's fine.
Started taking.
Strattera? No.
Cipralex? Did you
Cipralex.
take
Yeah,
some to help you kind of sleep and?
Cipralex is antidepressants, I believe.
So, and actually no, I think you just ended up taking Seroquel for a while, ended up going off the Seroquel and then just on the
See, I don't think
until
okay.
So then grade 11 you had stabilized through the summer because that was grade 10, end of grade 10 you stabilized through the summer because you didn't go to all of your exams. Grade 10 had some bad run-ins with some teachers.
Grade 11?
Grade 10.
Grade 10.
That was all that happened at the end of grade 10, like April, May, June of grade 10, those 3 months of grade 10.
Teachers.
Well, you were angry, you were presenting rage and anger to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Around you. So then, summer, whatever, grade 11 came, you were healthier. You were healthier than you were a few months prior. And, but it was the school crap that was whatever was going on. I didn't really know what was going on. But then you went to Cary High in the
I transferred schools
halfway through.
halfway through grade 11.
that
I
was
went
good.
through like, I did like, in the morning I would do, I think I explained this before, but in the morning I'd go to Timberline and then I'd switch over to Cary High, and then grade 12 I was like full-time Cary High, which was like probably the best thing that I could do.
Yeah.
It helped.
It was way better.
It was way better, yeah.
So grade 11 was okay. Then you decided to go to Cary High, and it was about Christmas time again, just through the winter, Christmas at Cary High.
Grade 11?
Grade 12.
Grade 12?
So grade 11 was all okay. We didn't have any major medication changes or anything. By Christmas of
Oh, wasn't I, remember the grad sleepover?
Yeah.
I just didn't like. I
Well,
was just so, like,
yeah, you had major anxiety. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like you were okay. You had most of Paige's normal symptoms.
yeah, I was
They
okay.
weren't.
I was okay to myself, but like,
You weren't out of control.
yeah,
You were managing your anxiety and managing the anxiety and managing the ADHD and doing okay. With me constantly making sure that everything was okay and
Yeah, but
picking
then-
up the pieces.
Yeah.
So then we went to the doctor. It was one of your appointments, and then that's when you had an appointment. You asked me to leave the room, and that's when you were diagnosed with depression. And that's when you went on
Cipralex.
and something to help you sleep because you weren't sleeping and all that kind of stuff. So then from
I mean, we could get the medical records and like,
So
I don't
that-
know all the names, but most
Yeah.
of them are just like, those are the main ones.
So then through, after that Christmas of grade 12 through to graduation, you were on antidepressants with your ADHD meds. You graduated, you were doing okay. Decided you wanted to go away to university. And I didn't really want you to go.
Yeah. I don't think anyone wanted me to go.
Only because I didn't, really think that you were ready and you had tons of anxiety and it was a far ways to go, and so, but there was no way you were staying on the island and you weren't staying at home and you were going away. So I thought, because originally you wanted to go somewhere where we didn't even know anybody, but hey, if you're going to go somewhere, go to Calgary, at least you have a family member there. And that was that. It was a pretty fast first 17 years of your life, eh?
But what about 17 and then what about after that?
Well, then there's university and that stuff, and now. And then all the other stuff you put on video before, I think. It was just a lot
We can talk
of...
about the lithium.
Oh, well, that was after the suicide attempt.
But we need to talk about lithium because that was a big part of what going to the hospital.
I think we need to have a bunch of different parts to this.
Yeah. Do you want to end this one?
Yeah.
End it after going away?
High school? You're gone.
High school. And then do you want to make a part two?
I'm wondering if the video seems as exhausting as it was. As life
What,
was.
as life was? I don't know, it's a lot. But what we can do, I don't know if I'm going to put this into 2 parts because it's pretty long. I'm going to say it's like an hour long.
Mhm.
Oh, I just put off my lipstick, but it's okay. But then we can do like a part more in depth about
From coming home after Calgary, suicide attempt, a year of really mental unrest and what kind of went on, and then to getting some really good help and to get you to where you are today.
yeah.
Okay.
But that would be like in a couple months.
Yeah, we could Skype it.
Skype it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I want to thank my mom so much for joining me and also coming to visit me. And I hope you guys enjoy her as much as I do. So, do you want to say anything? Aw, thank you. And I will see you guys in my next video.